Welcome to The Explainer. Have you ever wondered what would actually happen to your bank account if the absolute worst-case scenario hit tomorrow? Well, today we're diving into a truly eye-opening story about two completely different approaches to wealth. We're going to discover the 6 specific assets that history shows will survive literally any crisis. Imagine this terrifying reality for a second. Our guy Ajay is glued to his TV. The news anchor is screaming that World War III has begun. Missiles are launching, cities are burning, and the global markets are in an absolute freefall. But for Ajay, the terror is super personal. His entire stock portfolio is bleeding red. In a matter of days, 10 years of hard-earned savings, gone. Just melting away like ice on a hot day. Panicking, he rushes to the bank, but trust in the system is totally gone. After hours in line, the bank caps his withdrawals at just 10 grand. Rent is due, his company froze salaries, and he is stranded. His fragile, paper-based wealth literally vanished overnight.
Section 1. The Ultimate Financial Crash.
So, driven by sheer desperation, with zero cash for rent or food, Ajay suddenly remembers a warning from his childhood friend Sahil. Sahil always told him that in a true crisis, the city would fail him. Out of options, Ajay packs up his family and flees the burning city for the rural village he had so proudly left behind. The contrast between these two is wild. Ajay chased that loud city dream, right? Obsessed with stock market returns, renting to maximize his paper wealth, he really thought he was the smart one. But Sahil, he stayed quiet in the village, reading books and focusing on building tangible, real assets. Ajay used to mock Sahil, asking if he'd ever seen a billionaire come from a village. But as we're about to discover, Sahil was building an entirely different kind of resilience.
Section 2. Paper versus real wealth.
When Ajay gets to the village, he expects to find his friends struggling in rural poverty. But man, is he in for a shock. Sahil is living like a king. He's got a massive, beautiful house, his own tractors, endless supplies of stored grain, and a thriving network of people coming to him to do business. While the city is literally burning, Sahil's village is this incredible oasis of stability. A tearful Ajay asks how this is even possible, and Sahil smiles and drops this absolute truth bomb, which is basically the core thesis of everything we're looking at today. In a financial crisis, wealth is not destroyed, it is transferred. It transfers straight from the folks holding fragile paper to the ones holding real, tangible assets.
Section 3. Land and gold protect wealth.
Sahil then takes Ajay on a farm tour to reveal the exact anti-fragile assets he used to secure his future. Asset number 1, productive land. And we're not just talking about empty dirt here. We're talking fertile, farmable land with a solid water source. Because, in a crisis, you can't eat paper money. Sahil points out that this is exactly why billionaires like Bill Gates are aggressively acquiring millions of dollars worth of farmland today. And the historical data backing this up is insane. Take the 1923 Weimar Germany hyperinflation crisis. A Berlin banker literally lost 30 years of savings, all kept in government bonds and banks, until it couldn't even buy a cup of coffee. But just 40 miles away, a farmer with productive land thrived. His grain became so valuable that city folks were trading grand pianos and jewelry just for a sack of flour. The exact same thing happened in Zimbabwe in 2008. City savers held trillions in useless paper notes, while the farmers who controlled the food supply held all the real power.
Moving right along to asset number 2, gold. Sahil takes Ajay to the local jeweler to explain that gold isn't just some speculative investment. No, it is centuries-old financial insurance.
If you trace the timeline of the French Revolution, the trap becomes super obvious. In 1789, the government rolls out a new paper currency called assignats. People trusted it at first, of course, but within just 5 years, it lost 99% of its value. Total wipeout of the nation's paper wealth. But the people who held gold, they kept 100% of their wealth. Money constantly changes forms, right? Shells, coins, paper, digital. But gold has held its value for thousands of years. It's exactly why central banks worldwide still hoard it today, even while they print paper money for the rest of us.
Now, Ajay is just stunned. He asks Sahil, how do you know all this history while living out in a village? Well, Sahil reveals a surprisingly simple secret to financial literacy. He didn't need a fancy city education. He literally just watched educational videos online and used an app called Summary Board. For just 99 rupees a month, he accessed animated video summaries of over 70 powerful books. Titles like The Psychology of Money taught him these exact historical lessons. It just goes to show that the right knowledge, actively applied, is your true foundation for survival.
Section 4. Essentials and Stable Currencies.
Continuing their walk into the town market, Sahil reveals asset number 3, essential goods businesses.
Now, we aren't talking luxury brands here. We are talking bare-bones fundamentals. Businesses that sell food, cooking oil, fuel, and medicine.
The absolutely crucial point here is how these businesses respond to inflation. Look at the 1980s Brazil hyperinflation crisis. Prices were rising so insanely fast that supermarkets were changing their price tags multiple times a day. Bread might cost $100 in the morning, $500 by the afternoon, and $1,000 at nightfall. If you only held cash, you starved. But the owners of those essential businesses, they thrived because they could instantly adjust their prices to match the inflation, protecting their wealth in real time.
Which brings us to asset number 4, stable foreign currencies. Sahil visits a friend who trades in foreign exchange just to break this concept down.
This reveals a really harsh divide during a national crisis. During the 1980s Latin American debt crisis across Mexico, Brazil, and Argentina, the local currencies crashed hard. The middle class, who kept all their savings in local currency, were completely ruined. But wealthy families? They survived and preserved their generational wealth because they had diversified their money into stable foreign assets like US dollars. Having a portion of your wealth outside your local failing system is a massive, massive safety net.
Section 5. Real estate and survival skills. As the tour nears its end, we hit asset number 5, real estate. Ajay always thought renting in the city was the smart, flexible move, but Sahil shows him why owning physical structures is absolutely vital. Jumping back to that Weimar Germany example for a second, Sahil explains that when their currency collapsed, the prices of buildings in Berlin shot up into the billions of marks. The numbers on paper became completely meaningless. Bank accounts literally went to zero. But the buildings? They stood right where they were. People still needed a roof over their heads, meaning those physical structures retained immense utility and continue to command value. Real estate survives simply because the human need for shelter never disappears.
Finally, Sahil reveals the 6th asset. And honestly, what's really amazing about this one is that it's the most accessible asset on the list. Anyone can start building it today. Asset number 6 is essential skills.
The 1946 Hungary crisis is the perfect example here. Prices were doubling every 15 hours. Government employees on fixed paper salaries literally starved, but the plumbers, mechanics, and electricians, they thrived. Why? Because when the financial system completely breaks down, society just reverts to a barter economy. These tradespeople could trade their physical labor for food and supplies. A real-world skill is an asset that can't be taxed, it can't be frozen by a bank, and a government sure can't inflate it away. It lives inside you.
Section 6. Wealth is transferred, not destroyed.
By now, Ajay is completely humbled. He realizes those smart city strategies were actually incredibly fragile. Sahil didn't completely ignore the stock market, but he made sure his foundation was built on real assets first. And here comes the emotional twist. Years ago, a stock-obsessed Ajay had begged Sahil to sell his family's village land to buy more shares. Sahil reaches into his desk and hands Ajay a stack of papers. It's the property deed. Sahil never sold Ajay's land. He actually transferred his own money to Ajay back then to protect his friend from his own foolishness. He knew that one day, when the paper system failed, Ajay would desperately need this tangible safety net. Ajay breaks down in tears, deeply grateful for his friend's ultimate wisdom. So that brings us to the ultimate takeaway of this explainer. If a crisis hit tomorrow, are you holding fragile paper? Are you holding real assets? Productive land, gold, essential businesses, stable foreign currencies, real estate, and essential skills. The system is pretty much designed to keep you chasing paper. But real resilience? That comes from things you can touch, use, and trade. Take a hard look at your own portfolio today. Are you ready? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.